Let's do this.
All right, so in case you're wondering where we are, we're in the universe of the Kamushi Saga.
Okay.
Chronologically, there's a bunch of games in the Kamushi Saga.
It looks like 7.
Yeah. So we've got Bitoku.
Uh-huh.
Bitoku Resutoran.
Okay.
Yokai Sketch.
Okay.
Bamboo. Silk. Daitoshi itself. And finally Sand.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
So you notice we're towards the end of the chronology.
Right.
And this is the Industrial Revolution in the world of the Kamushi Saga. So
okay.
We've finally perfected the power of steam, and now we can use it to our advantage. We live in an unprecedented era of progress, and new steam-powered inventions are developed faster than ever. Cities are growing, trade is flourishing, and we are developing our most ambitious machine ever, a giant contraption that will bring even more progress to the city as it rids us of the burden of relying on animals for labor. Yes, some trees are being cut down, and the river doesn't flow as plentifully as before, but there's still an abundance of trees and water, and we can use the extra space to expand our city. Fairy tales and myths should not stand in the way of progress.
No! Until they do.
So basically, we're just dirty capitalists with like a lick of like Miyazaki paint.
Okay, noted. Now that I feel terrible about myself, thanks. All right, good. All right, cool.
All right, so the game's played over an indeterminate number of turns. We are trying to get the most victory points, so very Euro in that way. Let's take a look at what we're looking at here. So we've got the wilderness up top, and we have, in our player colors, sets of pilgrims, which you may remember from Daitoshi, or from Bitoku.
Yeah.
They do exactly the same thing, but they are similar in that they will traverse the wilderness and score us some points.
And look like eggs.
Yep. Below that, we have the city. This is our city that we live in. And the city is broken up into 5 districts. So that's a district right there. There's 5 districts. So each district has information about what you can do when you go there. This is, in its essence, a worker placement game. So you also have some spaces for districts to be expanded. Over here, you see the Mega Machine mentioned in the intro paragraph.
Right.
So it's going to float around in the opposite direction that our magnates, our workers, move and help us do different actions. You've got the Worm Bus trail. The Worm Bus goes throughout the city, gets us some bonuses as it moves throughout the city. You can I mean,
obviously.
So when you look at it, you're like, yeah, clearly it's a worm pulling a bus.
I mean, dude, how can it not be clear?
There's nothing else it can be.
Right.
Definitely couldn't be like a building with a smokestack and smoke coming out of it. Or like, could be, it's clearly a worm bus.
I mean, look at it. It's crystal clear.
Yeah, it's obviously a worm bus.
Okay.
So,
all right, yeah.
And then in the very innermost circle, we have our prestige markers, which will go around for different reasons and score us different bonuses.
Okay.
So below that, you've got the invention market, from which we can pick inventions, and they'll help us produce resources and points. We've got the Mega Machine action area. So we've got the Mega Machine itself with some actions you can do on it, and also some extra university inventions you can get when you help out the Mega Machine.
All right.
And below that, we've got the travel area with 5 different city tiles and some things you can get when you do the city action.
Okay.
So that's our board. And then if you move over to an individual player board,
it's broken down in 2 halves.
2 halves.
Right.
So this half is sort of your bookkeeping half, basically,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So on the far left, you've got spaces for wilderness tiles, which may or may not become angry spirit tiles.
I guarantee they will,
depending on how many slots you have there.
Yes, right.
You also have your sort of your steam engine, your coal steam engine, which will help you generate steam as it moves up and down. We'll go over that in a bit. You've got a place for up to 6 workers, assuming you don't anger the underground spirit. Yep. You've got information about how production works. You've got information about how steam power works. You've got your production marker in the lower left. Yep. You've got at the very top, I can never remember what this thing is called. It's like a university grant or something like that.
Okay,
so it's a one-time use item that you can either do a big production action or improve 3 of your inventions one time throughout the game. So Below that, you've got your resource tracks. So we're tracking 4 different resources, and we'll move our markers up and down as we gain and lose the resources. So over on the far left, you got food, little mochi balls.
Yeah.
We got power. We have construction materials and luxury goods. And then below that, we've got what's called wealth, which is a wild resource and can be used for any of the other 4 resources. And you've got also some steam. So steam is useful for a lot of things. We'll talk about it as we get into our actions. But notably, it is not a resource. So wealth cannot take the place of steam ever.
So this is one of those. It is not that.
And hopefully, the resources are all hexagonal in shape and the steam's not, so it's easy to remember that that's different. So, okay, on the other side of the board, we have our 3 sort of like workshops, buildings. They're called buildings in the game. Each building... Yep, there's 3 columns. Each column is its own building.
Yep.
Each building has space for 2 or 3 inventions. So the inventions get seated in there. You can see we've all got a basic invention on our boards, and it's in the unimproved space. So it's at the bottom of its little track. It can eventually go up and get better. And underneath that, you've got markers that track the improvement of the invention as it goes. They'll get you some bonuses, some benefits. Eventually, they'll improve the invention. And allow you to potentially donate your invention to the Mega Machine to make the whole world better, really.
Seriously.
So in the top center of the production area board, you have your reputation track. We all start on reputation 2. And then you've got a shield that helps us, like if we get more than 100 points, which we all will, we'll flip that over. And then if we get more than 200, we'll take it off.
God bless you. Right.
Yep. Right. So that's information about the buildings and how much steam it costs to activate each building. So, okay. So we're going to take it in turns in this game. Edward is our star player, so he'll go first, and then we're just going to go around in order until the game end is triggered. The way the game end can be triggered is if one of these tiles with this arrow on it is revealed.
Okay.
So it is the penultimate space on every one of the wilderness tracks. So whichever one we reach first will trigger the end of the game.
Okay.
We will make sure everybody has taken an equal number of turns, so I'll go last.
Yep.
And then we'll have one more turn, and then we'll do final
score. So if I trigger this,
yes,
Shrey, then you, and then everybody one more, and then we go into final score. Got it. Okay, cool.
Yep. So on a player's turn,
yeah,
they can do one of 2 things.
Okay.
So let's do the easier of the 2 things first and talk about a production turn.
Okay.
All right. So if you do a production turn, we're going to go back to our player board.
Yep. So start on the left-hand side.
So the first thing the game tells you to do is take your production marker and flip it to the right.
Actually, it theoretically rolls over to the right like that. Okay.
And note that it shows a pink arrow or pink check mark.
Yep.
That means you're the production leader, right? So you're going to declare then which of your buildings are going to operate.
So I'm just going to actually have that go out for both. So go ahead. Okay.
So right now, it wouldn't make sense for Edward to operate any except his left building. Right?
Let's just say I had something like maybe that and here.
Yeah, now you have the option to operate up to 2 buildings.
Correct.
Right? So you could decide, I'm just going to spend 2 to operate 1, or I'm going to spend 3 to operate both.
So that's cumulative.
When you operate a building, you'll operate every invention in the building.
Okay.
And then you look for check marks above or below the invention.
Okay.
Right? If there's a pink check mark, you get to do it as the production leader.
Okay.
If there's a blue check mark, you can do it whether you're the production leader or not. Because what you're going to see is that as you do production, Shrey and I can do production as well. Right. So everybody has the opportunity to do production. Right. So you would get right now 1 wealth, 1 worm bust movement, or 2 wealth, 1 worm bust.
Because there's 2 check marks.
That's right.
Because I'm the one operating it, right?
That's
so I would get 2 of those.
1 worm bus movement, which is just to take this little bus. And move it to the next arrow, and get whatever you cross.
So hey, cool! I get an energy. Okay, easy enough, right?
So,
okay.
And you'd also get 1 building material, right? So the building material. So if that were improved, you would also get a green worker.
Yep.
You'd get an improvement on any invention, so you can move one of those cubes.
So I can move that one there. I could move that one there, whatever it might be.
Yep. And then you get 2 points.
Yep. So that's that building.
That's that building. And the next building, you just get 2 construction materials.
Got it.
Yep.
But I would not get those because
Wouldn't
they're
get those.
X's.
That's right. Exactly.
Got it.
So once you have spent your steam
Yep.
and done your productions, you get some other benefits.
Okay.
So if you're the production leader, you will improve each of the inventions you used twice. So you move your little cubes up 2 times.
1, 2.
Yep.
1, 2, 1, 2.
I should note that if you make the water yokai angry with you, you won't get to move them up 2 times. You only get to move them up 1 time.
Do you want to go into detail on that now or later?
We can go into that later.
Okay, got it. Okay,
So, but
cool.
just be aware that that's a potential issue.
Yep.
So, in addition, for every building you activate, you're going to get 1 pilgrim movement of your choice.
Okay.
So right now, our pilgrims can only move on the river track because those are the only spaces that are revealed.
Okay.
But as we move around the board,
Yeah.
we're going to reveal tiles of all the wilderness areas. And when you do take this production action, you can get 1 sort of free pilgrim movement for each building you activate, up to 3.
Okay.
So that could be like 3 movement on the river, or 1 river and 1 forest and 1 mountain, any combo.
Provided they're revealed, right?
That's right.
Okay.
So,
got it.
So that's being production. And then once you've completed your production turn, you cycle your production wheel all the way to the left to remind yourself you cannot do 2 production turns in a row.
It's that little line through the gear right there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's right. So
Okay.
now Shrey and I may have done production as well. We're not limited by that. So Edward could do his production turn, and then Shrey could do one right behind him if he wanted to.
Right. Now, when I do my production turn as the production leader,
Yes.
I paid to power those buildings.
That's right.
But now Shrey, on his turn, has an option.
Well, it's actually not even on his turn.
Oh, well, no, not a. What I mean is, okay, I'm doing my production.
Yeah.
While I'm doing that, effectively,
Shrey can also be doing a production.
Okay,
as
and-
can I.
and-
We would do them simultaneously.
and he would have to pay.
He has to pay just like you do.
Okay,
He gets similar but not exactly the same benefit. So he doesn't get the pink check marks.
okay,
He would get 1 improvement per invention instead
Okay.
of 2.
uh-huh.
And he does not get the pilgrim movement.
Okay, so in this case, as people are looking,
Right,
he
Shrey
would get 1 wealth, and it would have cost him 2 steam to do it, and he gets 1 bump on that 1 because that's the only one he has.
Right. Correct.
And that's it.
That's right. That's
Okay,
the-
got it. Roger that.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so that is a production turn. Anything I left out?
I don't
Anything
think so. I
unclear?
think that.
Okay.
You could
that's pretty good.
mention the icons.
Oh, good point. So
Yeah. Do you want to do that
as
now?
you're
Okay.
as you're
sorry.
improving your so if you cross over one of those green up pointing arrows, that's when you will improve your invention and move it up. Yep. So as you can see, now you're going to get everything.
Right.
Right.
So getting those to the green arrow, very, very good.
Very handy. Yep.
Okay.
When you cross the purple ring with a white center,
Right there. And by
Yeah.
cross, you mean land on, right?
land on or
or
cross.
or,
Yeah,
or
that's
go
right.
past.
Yep.
Okay.
So now your invention is eligible to be donated to the Mega Machine,
Which you'll talk about
which
later.
we'll talk about later.
Okay.
If you cross any of the pink sort of gear teeth,
Yes.
you're going to score the number of points on the invention.
So it 1, 1, 2, respectively.
And that
Okay.
means, generally those come after you improve your invention. So that means you're going to score it multiple times.
Right.
Right? Because you're going to score the points you get for the blue arrow, and you might score it again because you improved it to that point. So
Sure.
maybe you're scoring 2 points, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
You can also see that there is one that lets you throw away a wilderness tile. Right?
Yep.
And
And by throw away, you mean from the board.
No,
then-
no.
no, from
from
your board
your.
here
Got
to
it.
back to out of
Got
the game,
it.
basically.
Which is a good thing. It's a positive.
It is.
Yes.
It is. And then the final symbol you see is just a two
Score it
gear,
twice.
which means you just score the value of it twice.
Got it.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So that's the production turn in its particulars. So that's one of the things you can do on your turn. If you don't do a production turn, instead you will move your magnate and do a city turn.
All right. And for those that are just learning this game, don't do as I did. I originally thought production turns, that's if you really can't do something. No. That is super important in this game.
The game gives you a clue.
Because you can't do it
Because
twice
you
in a
can't do it
row.
twice in a row.
Yeah, well, some of us were a little slow on the pickup, okay?
That's right,
All right,
that's right.
fair enough. All right. So, you ready to talk about it over there?
Let's do city turns.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so on your city turn, you're going to take your magnate and move them a certain number of spaces.
Okay.
You can move up to 2 districts in clockwise order
Okay.
for free.
Okay.
You can spend 1 steam more to move one district more
Okay.
up to 5.
Okay.
There's 5 districts, so you would never need to move more than 5.
Because you'll never go past where you started.
That's right. If you're going to go past where you started, you would just do.
Sure. Right.
Right.
So 2 questions on that, if I may.
Yep.
A, what the hell is a worker placement spot on this, number 1? And number 2, if you were to do all 5,
Yep.
you can't go to the exact
You can't go
spot.
to the exact location you're leaving. So,
Good.
so Edward's magnate is on the center worker placement spot of this district. So on his turn, he could spend 3 steam to return here.
Right.
And he could go to this spot or this spot.
Okay.
But not the center spot.
Roger
Can't go
that.
back to exactly the same space you left.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the worker placement
There are
spots?
3 worker placement spots on the board.
Uh-huh.
On each
On each district, yeah.
Right. So here you go.
Yep.
Right.
So the farthest right is an unlimited spot. So all of our magnates could be there at once.
Okay.
Right? You don't pay anything to land there,
Okay.
but you cannot use the worker action associated with the district if you do
Okay.
that.
So in other words,
You can see
If
it's
you
got,
go
it's got
to that
It's
spot,
got the scroll crossed out.
that is not available
Yep.
to you.
And the worker placement looks like a scroll, so it makes sense you can't do that thing.
Yep.
Right?
Got it.
The next spot over costs 1 steam.
Yep. To land there.
Only 1 magnate can be there at a time.
Okay.
And it allows you to do everything else in the district plus use the worker action.
Okay.
The final spot, the farthest one left, costs 2 steam. Again, only 1 magnate can occupy it at a time.
Uh-huh.
And what it does is it first clears all workers off of the district. And then allows you to take worker actions.
So it's this, but this guarantees that this is empty so you can do it.
Exactly right.
Okay.
That's right.
Got
So
it.
what you'll do is you'll land on a new worker placement spot.
Yes.
You will, if you took one of the 2 leftmost spaces, potentially do your worker action. That's the first thing you do when you arrive.
Okay.
We may add districts on.
Mm-hmm.
When we do, there'll be additional worker spaces that land there. If you have multiple workers, you can do multiple worker placement spots as long as you take one of the 2 leftmost bits.
Yep.
Most of the worker placement spots require a specific color of worker.
So red, blue, yellow, so on and so forth.
That's right. This one particular district,
Yes.
the town hall, I think it's called,
Okay.
allows for a wild,
Okay.
right?
And a wild is...
A wild is any color, any of the 4 colors. Yep. The additional districts will have what might look to the untrained eye like a wild worker. But what it actually means is that it has to be the same color as the native worker of the district. So in this case, in order to use this spot, you'd have to use a yellow worker.
And if you go to either of those 2 spots, you can do them both, but they both require a yellow worker.
That's right. So if you have 2 yellow workers, you can do them both.
Roger
Or,
that.
if let's say that you can't go to this space, or you don't have the steam, or you don't want to spend the steam,
Yeah.
and one of them is covered,
So that one is covered.
you could go to this spot and do the other one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you have the opportunity to do that. So,
Roger that.
Yep. So that's the worker part of the space, and the workers all do fairly simple stuff. So the ones that are available to us now, over here, it says you can take 2 river pilgrim movement, 2 blue pilgrim movement.
Okay, so just
Right,
move up
so
that track. 1,
Boop,
2.
boop. Yep.
All right, cool.
Yep. That says get 3 steam. Spend a blue worker, get 3 steam.
Pretty straight.
Yep. This one says spend a yellow worker, get 2 worm bus movement.
1,
so
2.
Yep, and you get everything that you pass.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
This one says get 1 construction material for a wild worker.
Pretty straightforward.
And this one says remove a wilderness tile from your board.
Woo! That's really good.
Yep.
Okay.
So those are the workers' placement spots we've got out there. We'll talk about what the new ones do as they come in.
Yeah,
Yep.
totally.
So that's the first part of your city turn.
That's the optional kind of, right?
Yeah. The next part is exploit. This is the only thing that you must do on a city turn.
Okay.
You don't have to do the worker stuff. You don't actually have to take the district action, but you have to do the exploit.
Yeah.
So
It's a mixed bag.
it is. It's good and bad. So you'll take one of the wilderness tiles from the wilderness area, matching the tile in the district, right? So in
Okay.
Edward's case, if he landed here, he would take the leftmost
Yes,
river
well
tile
done, yes.
away, and he would place it on his board.
Okay.
Now, you can see that there's sort of two symbols next to that. The top symbol tells you what you get when you place a tile there.
Okay, so
That means you would get a blue worker, and you would get 2 water. So let's go ahead and talk about the water and coal now. So you
Sure.
got this I don't know, track?
Yeah.
And when you get water, you're going to move your item towards the water
So
symbol.
1,
Yeah.
2.
When you get coal, you're going to move towards the coal symbol.
1, 2. So
Yeah,
on and
or
so
maybe
forth,
1, right?
Or one,
many you
however
get, right?
it is.
So
right, yeah.
if in the course of your movement you land on a space or pass through a space that has an arrow going the same direction as your movement.
Okay, so in this case, if I were here, I gain 2 water.
Yep.
I'm reaching that one. That's 1 that matches the movement, and 2 matches the movement. What happens then?
So you generate steam each time. Normally, you generate 3 steam per arrow that you hit that way. If you anger the forest spirit, however, you'd only generate 2 steam per time you generate that way. So kind of depends on your relationship with the spirits, but mostly you're generating 3 steam.
So in that case, in that example, I move 2. I don't generate 2 steam. I generate 3 per movement.
Correct. So 6
that's
in total.
6 all day.
That's right.
So 6 plus whatever I had. Got it.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right, so that's the exploit action. Now, what if you already have a blue tile on your board?
You're probably going to piss somebody off,
And you're
is my
taking
guess.
another blue tile. So the way the rule of the game works is that if you've already got a tile on, instead of placing it in the way that you see there, you're going to flip that tile over and place it the other side. And you can see there's an angry yokai on that side.
I mean, clearly he looks furious at me.
If that tile is still there at the end of your city turn, you are going to find the matching symbol on the board and flip that over to make your board worse. Each one of them does something that you really don't want it to do.
Yep.
Although, depending on the part of the game, some of them are maybe quote unquote better than others.
Right.
But they're all bad.
Yeah.
And likewise, if at the end of your turn you've got one flipped over, but you no longer have an angry yokai showing, you'll flip it over again at the end of your turn.
So it doesn't help you the turn you got rid of that.
That's right.
Noted.
However, if you take one and get rid of it during the same turn, no harm, no foul.
Because it wouldn't have flipped back over. And
It wouldn't have flipped.
Yeah,
That's right.
Got it.
So,
fair enough.
All right, so that's exploiting. Questions about that? That all makes sense? We can go through the other exploit markers quickly. So,
Sure, okay.
If you take forest, you're going to get a green worker and 1 coal.
It's easy to forget that it's actually a worker there because it matches the color, but you actually physically get the
worker and coal.
Yep.
If you take a mountain, you're going to get a yellow worker and coal. And if you take an underground tile, you're going to get a red worker and coal.
Pretty straightforward.
So that's how you see the push-pull of the coal and water working, and that's how you get your workers for the most part.
All good.
Yep. So, all right. So that's the exploit part of the action. Note that on the town hall, you're taking 2 tiles. A river tile and any other one you want.
Yeah, not a bad.
Pick your poison. So, all right. So once you've done the exploit part of the action, you may now do
the good part.
The good part. Yep. So let's start with the invention area.
Okay.
So this set of gears matches that set of gears down there. And we've got a market for inventions.
Okay, I'll leave mine for as it is. These would be filled, but okay.
Inventions cost food. You can see there's a food cost listed above those 3. And they come in 3 flavors in this market. They have sort of a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3. They get better as you move over, right?
It's brilliant, ordinary, something, and brilliant. I can't remember what the middle one's
Oh,
called.
really? That's
funny. Okay, all right, cool.
When you take this action, you have 2 options. You can purchase 1, seed it somewhere on your board, and the rules for seeding on your board is you must choose a building and place it in the lowermost spot.
So in my example, over here, it's either that of that one, or that one. I cannot place in either of those.
That's right.
Got
exactly.
it. Yep.
So if you choose to purchase only 1, you will get all of the benefits on the invention when you place it.
So immediately, if I'm only purchasing this one, I get a worm bust movement, I get a yellow worker, and a bump on any one of my
other inventions. Yep.
Right, and 2
points.
points.
That's
got
right.
it.
Yep.
Cool.
If you take and purchase 2 inventions, you get 2 inventions. So yay,
Woo!
but you don't get the benefits immediately. So you have to wait until you do a production.
Yep.
So, so that's this action here. This action over here is the electrify action. Electrify costs power. Yep. Nope, it's not that. Not
Oh,
that.
sorry. You're right.
And so
You're right.
what will happen when you electrify is that you will choose a district on the board and look for this symbol.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a district that's not flipped over yet.
Correct.
You're going to pay this amount of power.
Mm-hmm.
The improved districts that will go underneath this later cost more power, up to 4 power.
Yep.
And you choose one that hasn't been flipped over yet. You're going to pay that cost in power. You're going to flip it over.
You're going to get the benefit also.
You get the
Oh,
benefit.
yeah, we're going to get the benefit. Yeah, so each one has a different little benefit. This one says you get a water and a prestige. So whenever you move the prestige, you just hop to the next spot and get whatever.
Just
you
like the
pass
worm
over.
bus, just
Just like the
smaller
worm bus.
track and different
Smaller
rewards.
track, different stuff. Yep. These have various benefits. You can see it's coal, it's water, it's prestige, basically. Yep. You're going to flip it over. If there are workers on this when it's flipped over, they go back to the supply.
If
Cool.
if there's a magnate, it'll stay in the...
It goes. That's right. Yeah. The magnate doesn't just spin off into space.
Right. Yeah.
It's a player elimination game. If you just electrify
Bye.
they're out.
Well, let's just electrify it.
Right. I mean, right. All right.
Importantly, when you flip it over, you are improving the space.
Right.
And you can tell how the improvement will work by looking at the little detail here.
Yep.
So right now, this only gives you 1 for the worker action. If you flip it over, now you get you score your reputation and get 1.
Better. Right. 2 steps, 3 steps.
Exactly.
You know.
So, and this one over here, this is notable because it helps us with another thing we need to mention, right? So this one just lets you throw away any tile. When improved, it will let you throw away the tile and get the associated benefit.
And that's on our player board.
Yeah,
You
so
wanna
if you
show
go back
that?
to the player
Yeah,
board,
sure.
we should, So
So when you get the tile, we're talking about you get the benefit at the top.
Yep.
When you throw away a tile with that symbol
little
behind
fire
it,
symbol, that's
yes,
right. Yep.
Then you get the bottom.
Yep. So
And-
you're getting 1 pilgrim movement on the river, you're getting 1 food, you're getting 1 improvement of any invention, and you're getting 2 worm bus movement. Those are the associated. Yep.
Got it.
benefits. Yep. Okay, so so that's electrification. Questions about that? Make sense?
Totally.
Okay. All right. You could also build or renovate a district.
Yeah.
So that's over here. It's got this little house. Building or renovating district costs construction materials. So when you build or renovate a district, you will choose from either this pile or this pile of new sort of district improvements. You cannot build the outer ring unless someone has also already built the inner ring of the
I
district.
mean, duh.
Yeah, it
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So the inner rings all cost 2
Yep.
construction materials.
Yep.
The outer rings all cost 4. If we get far enough in our game that we've built all of those, you can still take this action and renovate, quote unquote, renovate by spending 3
All right,
construction
let
materials.
me bring that down and show
Yeah.
folks. So that is right here. And notice,
Probably won't happen in a 3-player game, but
Right.
we played it 4-player, and it definitely happens in a 4-player game.
and that
so,
says you throw away a tile
Yep.
and get the bonus.
so this action is the most reliable way to get rid of tiles on your board. Whenever you take this action, you are going to choose a tile from your board.
Yep.
Doesn't matter which one it is.
Yep.
And you're going to place it on the district.
Okay.
As you do so, you're going to get its removal
Bonus that
benefit.
it shows right there. Yep.
That's right.
Got it.
And then it's going to stay on the tile.
Okay. So, for instance, I did that. Throw a water tile on it.
Yep.
Okay. There.
In the future, when it's electrified,
Yeah.
someone else will get they won't get to remove a tile, but they'll get the water tile removal benefit as part of their electrification bonus.
So in this case, they would pay 3, and we're talking about that
Yep.
there.
pay three,
3.
get some steam, get a movement on the river, get a prestige, and then they flip it over.
There you go.
Yep.
And then the tile goes out of the game.
Exactly right.
Got
Yep.
it.
So,
Thank you.
all right. So that's
And also, when you say they choose, you get the top one.
You get the top one. Yeah.
right. You choose from one of the 2 available.
Right.
That's
So it's not you get the whole stack here. I'm going to
Yeah.
shuffle these up so
Sure.
it doesn't matter. It's whatever is on top, and that's
Yeah.
what that is.
So I want to also point out a little detail that
Uh-huh.
doesn't usually matter because usually you got more of these tiles and you know what to do with.
Yeah.
But These outer rings all require 2, and one of them I think actually requires 3.
Okay.
Yep.
If you don't have the tiles, you can't build it. You have to have at least the number here in order to be able to do
Which you want to be able to get rid of them.
Certainly
and,
do. But if you've done a really good job of keeping this clean, it may make it harder for you to build this.
Sure.
So,
okay.
Okay, so that's building buildings.
Yep.
Any questions on that? Makes sense?
Totally.
All right, so now let's do the city travel actions. That one's this one down here. So this one is going to cost you a combination of steam and luxury goods.
All right. So, looking
when-
at these 3, there are 5 of them all day.
Yep. When you go, you're going to decide to which other city you're traveling. The farther you go, the more steam you have to spend on
Sure.
our. Oh gosh, I really want to remember what this thing is called. It's a word that maybe makes sense if you like follow Miyazaki or whatever.
Okay.
So, it is called
While you're thinking,
Kyodainaga,
easy for you to say. Okay.
which is that sort of moth zeppelin.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously he's steam powered.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
the farther you go,
and to be clear, this was the unsuccessful cover band of Led Zeppelin, Moth Zeppelin.
moth zeppelin.
Yeah.
I remember the first time we played, you were like, "Oh, it's clearly Mothra." I was like, "No, it's Kyodainaga."
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. My bad. Obviously. All right.
So you pick the city.
Yeah.
All
right. We choose this city right here.
Yeah, I mean, what I would generally say here is the more steam you spend,
The better.
more exciting your rewards might be.
Sure.
But there are reasons to choose different ones because one of the things you're doing is looking for a trigger that can let you get a bonus,
Yes.
right? And the triggers are all different. So, you've selected that one. You're going to
Yeah.
spend 2 steam.
Yep. So I pay 2 steam from my board. Okay.
Yep. That's the start. That before you do anything else, you got to do that.
Okay.
Now you got to decide how many luxury goods you're going to spend.
All right. Let's say I have 4, but I only want to spend 2.
Okay, so you're going to get the benefits from left to right. So first benefit is 3 points.
Yep.
Next benefit is place your flag. That green flag means you get to place one of your flags there as long as there's not one there already.
Okay. So if there was one there, I would have to choose, say, maybe that one or that one.
Or you could just do it and not get the benefit.
Or, yeah. Well, I guess pay 1 luxury good.
Yeah.
Or 3 and yeah. All right. Gotcha.
If you did have 4 luxury goods,
Yeah.
you could take the orange flag symbol. That means do the thing, get the benefit, but don't remove your flag. Right?
Yeah.
So the benefit for this space is get a pilgrim movement of any kind, a worker of any color, and 1 wealth.
And this is when you do production.
Yeah. In the future, now that your flag is there,
Yeah.
in the future, the next time you are the production leader,
Right.
if you remember, but this is a hard thing to remember potentially.
It is.
If you remember, you can trigger this benefit during your production action.
Right. So that symbol is matched right there.
Yep.
Okay. And these are randomly placed.
Right.
So the one that's here could have ended up there.
Mhm.
And there are a plethora
Quite a few.
that are not in play.
There are ones
Okay.
that match every wilderness tile, and there are
Right.
actually, I think, multiple that match every wilderness
Right,
tile.
yeah.
There are ones that match every action on the board.
Right.
There, obviously, we have the
And
production.
this is legitimately random how
Yeah,
they came
exactly.
out. So, okay.
That one over there says when you take a travel action,
Yeah.
you get
I.e. do this.
you get to remove 1 tile and get its benefit.
And when you do, you remove the flag,
flag
that's
goes
on
away.
there. So in other words, this comes back
Yeah.
to my supply.
You don't throw it away out of the game or anything.
Right.
You get it back.
You
Yeah.
just have to be able to go and do that again. And
Yep.
yeah.
So moving on down further, we see some other symbols. So like that one says when you take a wilderness tile, a forest tile.
Yes.
You will look at the level 3 invention, the brilliant invention in the market,
Yep.
and you will get all of its benefits. You don't get the invention, but you get all of its benefits.
2 worm boss, 2
food,
mochi, and
Yep,
3 points.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Which is nice, yeah.
All right. Yeah.
All right, so also looking down on the benefits there, you see that if you go all the way out to the 5th spot, you can now get a prestige as
Yes.
Yeah.
Right there.
well. All right.
Uh-huh.
Next one over, when you take a river wilderness tile,
Remove your flag and
get a pilgrim movement on the river.
looks a whole lot like this,
Yeah.
except it's any, not or this
Get a
one's
blue
blue.
worker,
That's any,
and
right.
then get a food. Yep.
Okay.
All symbols we've seen before, and then finally, when you take an action in the invention market, when you build new inventions,
Yes.
right, you can get 3 improvements in any combination on inventions. So
Same track,
three on
different
one,
tracks.
two on
Right.
one, and one on another. Doesn't really matter.
Yep.
So, and then at the bottom there, you see a couple of So you see a place and then get the orange. So you place it and you get the stuff.
Yeah, so place one and then do that. Basically, the stuff on the right of the arrow.
And then all the way over, we see what's now a familiar tile of remove a wilderness tile and get its benefit.
Totally.
So that is the travel action. We've also got the town hall, which is wild.
Okay.
It lets you do any of the actions we've already talked about, plus it lets you do the mega machine action.
All right.
What's the mega machine?
You know,
action,
I was going to
you might
ask you, so when you come over here, so purple, Trey in this case, he comes around, boom, he comes
in that
here.
district,
If he pays a blue worker, can do that.
Yep.
Whether he does that or not, he then takes a underground tile. And then what?
Well, so a couple of things with the mega machine. First of all, the mega machine has a separate worker spot.
Easy to forget.
As long as it's in your district,
Yes.
you will pay the associated worker. So right now, it's in blue, so this one would need to be blue.
Okay.
And then you get its benefit, which is 1 prestige.
Yep.
Things will happen over the course of the game that will improve that spot and make it better. It may ultimately have 2 prestige, 3 worm bus movement, and 1 pilgrim movement of your choice.
There you go. In other words, those tiles right there.
At which point we'll all be fighting over
Who gets
getting that
there,
tile. Yes.
because everybody loves mega machines.
Very good.
Yes.
So,
all right.
You can do this regardless of whether you do the other mega machine action. It's just an available worker spot.
Awesome. So, just for my own sake, this is another worker placement spot wherever this is.
That's right. And let's say there's a worker already there.
Yeah.
It is removed if you do the 2 steam action in the spot where the mega machine is.
If I landed on the 2 steam spot, I could clear this space and
that space. Yep.
Right, because mega machine is there.
That's right. So, remember earlier we talked about how all the inventions have that purple circle with a white dot in the middle?
I do, in
their
fact,
tracks?
recall this. Yes.
So, that's the point at which your invention gets so good that the mega machine now wants it.
Yeah. So, okay,
Right.
here's my situation. This is bumped up here, which means that has already been pushed up like so, so on and so forth. So I have qualified to donate.
You have.
Okay.
Yeah. So, at this point, now instead of not in addition to, but instead of taking the main action in the district, you can take the mega machine action.
Okay.
When you take the mega machine action, you're going to pay 1 of each resource plus 1 wealth.
So shown right there.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, wealth can substitute for other resources, so you could pay 5 wealth if you've got 5 wealth hanging around.
I mean, sure.
But obviously, nothing else can substitute for wealth, so you have to have at least 1 wealth. Right? So, then you're going to put your donated invention on one of the spots of your choosing. Some of them have more points than others, so you're probably going to pick the one with the most points.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I start with, say, this one. So 10 points and 2 prestige.
That's right. You cover that up. Now, because this one is the only one in its group, now that it's covered, you're going to take that little purple circle next to it, the one with the hat. You're going to move it up and permanently improve the worker action there.
You're welcome.
The other 2 will take 2 donations in order to improve them, right?
Sure.
Now, what do you may be thinking to yourself,
Self.
what am I getting for all this?
What are you getting from
Well, aside from the points in the prestige movement.
I mean, yeah, because, getting
Points
that,
and prestige movement is nice, but you're also going to get a university invention. So I think there's 6 different kinds at least 5 different kinds of these things.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, right, different, yeah.
Yeah.
So here, I'll show people. There, we ended up with number 2.
Yep.
Okay.
So you're going to take that and put it back in the invention spot that you've just vacated.
And it goes to the top because I've passed that spot.
It stays just as improved as it was before. The cube does not move.
Yeah.
So these inventions are all the same. They give you 1 power. They let you score your reputation, which we haven't talked about yet, but it allows you to score wherever your reputation marker is.
They're not cumulative.
Right now it'd be 2 points.
Right.
That's right.
Got it.
Yeah. So, and it gives you 4 points. So this is a very points-focused invention that's going to give you potentially a lot of points over the course of the game. So, and that's the mega machine action. That's what you do with the mega machine. So,
question: Now, you may not want to do this.
Yeah.
But I've passed that symbol.
Yeah.
So does that mean on a theoretical future turn, I could donate that tile?
You can't donate into university invention.
Gotcha.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
So
All right.
you can tell them apart from the regular inventions because they have that purple background.
Yep.
Once you add a purple background in there, you can't donate.
Keep it like
Yeah,
luggage.
that's right.
Okay.
There are a limited number of spots here. There are 6 inventions, but there's only 5 spots. So the Mega Machine only wants 5 spots in a 3-player game. Yep, 6 spots in a 4-player game.
There you go.
Once the 5th one has been donated, the machine's basically done.
Yeah.
We may not even get there. It's pretty hard to donate an invention. It's pretty costly, but
Yeah.
it's pretty great if you do it.
Yeah, it
so, Mega Machine action. That's all clear, right?
Right. And then what happens to the Mega Machine itself once you've taken that action?
Whether you take the action or not, once you do a city turn in the district where the Mega Machine is,
Yeah.
it moves 1 district counterclockwise.
Okay. Easy to forget. So what we're going to do is when someone comes to the district with it, we're actually going to stand it up. That is really peculiar for us to have anything standing in the studio. So therefore, that'll be our reminder that now goes there. Okay, cool. And that ended up there because randomness.
Yep. So you might be asking yourself, how do I actually improve my reputation? We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, I was wondering.
So there's a prestige track, as we mentioned before. As you get those top hats, you're going to move around. You're going to get some luxury goods. You're going to get some improvements on your inventions. Pilgrim movement, you're going to get to throw away a tile, which is, hey, not bad.
Sure, not terrible.
And this spot right here is the only place in the game where you can improve your reputation.
Yep.
So if you cross this spot 3 times, you'll max your reputation out at 7.
Yep.
That's what you're up to there.
Okay.
And then these spaces on the worm bus track let you score it, just like
So-
the university invention.
Yeah, so if you can race around that, then
Yeah.
the
So
worm
those
bus
2
comes
tracks are
around.
connected.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, okay. I think that's it for your turns. You can either do a city turn or production turn. Keep in mind you can't do a production turn twice in a row.
Yep.
This university grant, as we mentioned before, does one of 2 things. Either during your game, you can spend no steam and power all your buildings. So it's a free full production.
So it's effectively 7 steam for you, right?
It's 7
because
steam.
it's 7 total to do all
Exactly.
3 buildings, right? Okay.
If you don't use it,
yeah.
at the end of the game, which again it consistently has this little arrow pointing to a wall symbol,
Yep.
you can improve 3 times.
3
your
bumps,
inventions.
mix and match,
Yep,
however
so
you want.
one or the other.
And you
So,
cannot move these tracks unless you have an invention there, correct?
That's right. Yep. You can't just pre-improve it.
You know.
It's thematic, I think, right?
It is. It totally is.
So we're going to go on taking actions and removing tiles as we go,
Yes.
right? Remember, again, can't move onto this tile until it's been removed,
Correct.
right? So we're going to remove these tiles. Some of the spots have 2 tiles on them.
Mm-hmm.
When a spot has 2 tiles, you're going to remove a tile, and there's going to be another tile.
Which means you still can't go there.
Yep.
And you always move from the beginning of the tracks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, the river track, you're removing the left edge and then climbing your way here.
Exactly.
But the other 3 tracks, you move from the inside out.
That's right.
I mean, common sense, but figure it ought to mention.
When this is revealed,
Yes.
not when someone moves there, but when it's
Yes.
revealed, or when that's revealed, or when that's revealed,
Yep.
or when that's revealed.
You guessed it. Yep.
The end of the game is triggered.
Right. Finished the round. Everybody takes
Finished
one
the
more.
round, everybody takes one more.
Yep.
And then endgame scoring is really just 4 things, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to do your government grant if you haven't already and
Yep.
improve your inventions. And then you're going to score the wilderness tracks. So based on your progress on these tracks, you're going to potentially score in these. It's really 5 areas.
Yeah, and here I will zoom in and show people
Okay.
this. I think this is probably because this is one of those games to where you absolutely need to know the end game scoring
Yep.
before you start, because what you do absolutely, it's asymmetric scoring.
Well, you should just get to the end of all the tracks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Sure.
That's just. I mean, that would be the easier way. If you don't have to think about it that much, then just get to the end of all of them.
Oh, okay.
That is much easier said than done.
Yeah. So here, this is actually a pretty good place.
Yeah, so
to have
the
that.
forest
There you go.
track will let you score victory points indicated multiplied by the number of university inventions in your factory.
So that's these.
Yeah, the purple ones.
From
Yeah.
the Mega Machine.
Yes. So the maximum multiple you can have on that is 5.
All right.
Right?
Show
If you
the
totally
end.
monopolize it, you can have 5 times 18.
Right, and that's if that end tile is revealed and you're on that end space.
That's right.
So wherever your marker is what
the
you're
likelihood of
scoring.
the end tile being revealed is pretty low in a 3-player game, much less getting onto it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, do better.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean,
so,
Yeah.
duh.
So, I mean, if you're building
All right.
Mega Machine tiles and you only reach like the third space,
probably
it's only
not
a 6 multiplier.
Yeah, so 6 times 5
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
30.
30.
It's
It's still
great.
not.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
not terrible, but not great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The mountain. Score a victory point indicated times the number of progress markers in your factory that are on the rightmost step of their progress track. So
In other words,
your little cubes that have reached
all the
the
way.
far edge, that's up to 8 times up to 9.
72 points.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Not bad.
Yeah.
The underground scores the victory points indicated times the victory points granted by your reputation level. So your reputation level can get up to 7
Times
times up to 7.
49.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then finally, the river scores 2 different ways.
Yeah.
So, score the victory points indicated times the number of wilderness hex types not present on your board. That
So
is
in other words, empty spaces.
up to 4.
Right.
If all 4 spaces are empty, you're multiplying 4 times up to 19.
That seems not terrible. I'm pretty sure that's 76 points.
Not bad.
Okay.
Yep.
But
And
wait,
then
there's more.
for every track showing a conflict side, that is every one of them that has 2 or more tiles on it,
Right.
you're going to score negative. Starting out at negative 10 and down to as low as negative 0. So once you reach here, it doesn't matter how many
Right.
are
I
upset.
remember where's the...
That break is pretty late,
Yeah. But
it gets low
yeah.
pretty fast.
And again, it's not what's revealed, it's where your marker is.
Yep. And then
Pilgrim.
finally, there's sort of like a add up all the crap you have left over.
Yeah.
So score a victory point for every 2 workers and leftover resources. So you add all your workers and resources together,
And again,
divide by
nice
2, round down.
Right. And Steam is not a
And
resource.
Steam is not a resource, so no matter how much Steam you have, you don't get anything for that.
And then either Ken or Shrey has won the game. There you go.
Here we go.
That was
That's how you
great.
play
Well
Daitoshi.
done. Well done. 2 last things before we get started. Number 1, there are 4 player aids. Okay? So the player aids, the way so the front of the player aids are identical. One of them, in fact, let me see, 3 of them look like this when you open up, noting the top right-hand corner. They are blank. However, the one of them has a 1 on it. That's the first player. That's how I became first player. I had that one. Random, whatever.
Yep.
That's fine. The second thing I wanted to point out before we get started is for all you 3D printing folk out there, this is a custom insert. The plans are out there for Daitoshi. This is Paul's copy of the game, so thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
He also loves 3D printing. He has a 3D printer now, and it's ridiculous.
So I dabbled in 3D printing for board game inserts a long time ago.
Yeah.
And man, the cutting edge is impressive.
Yeah,
This is a very fancy insert.
It really, really is. It fits in a box perfectly.
They're all labeled. Like that one says
University Invention. Here, hold
yeah,
on.
it's hard to see it, but
Hold on. There you go.
yeah,
Like
they're very nice.
so, if you were into such things, I thought I would highlight this and show y'all at home. Plus, give props to Paul.
Yeah, I
since
think Paul
we're
must have
borrowing
printed
his
these
game.
things on like 60 or 70% fill too, because when this box is full,
It is
weighs
not
like
light.
8 pounds.
It's a weapon. Yeah, it totally is. 100%.
Yeah.
So there we go.
All right.
Oh, hey, Danny's here. What's up, Danny? He said, thanks for playing. I hope you enjoy. I won't be able to stay as it's 2 a.m. here, but I'll see the video later. Hey,
AG Speaks, great point.
awesome.
So we talked about how the town hall action is wild. You can do any action from there.
Yeah,
Including the Mega Machine.
Yeah.
wherever it is. Yeah, good call.
Yep.
Good fix. All right, Danny, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so, yeah, hey, hang in there. Cheers. Appreciate the support, Danny. Get some rest, all right? All right, so we ready?
Let's do this.
All right. Hey, y'all made it this far. That's awesome. Gold star for you. Maybe check out some of those other videos that are listed there. Subscribe to the channel. Consider supporting us over on Patreon. All those things help the channel grow and make more content for y'all. So thanks, y'all.